Hello,
Yeah,
everyone. Welcome to our June installation of our Details University Live. I'm your host, Corrine Heck, and I am very pleased to introduce you all to my very good friend, Joost Bongaerts. Right?
very
Did I get
good.
that right? Okay, gosh, I forgot Humphrey Bogarts already. Bongarts of Florabundance. Welcome, Joost, to our production, and we're so glad to have you.
Thank you, Corinne. I'm excited to speak to the audience and be in it was a DU, Details
Yeah.
University.
Details
Oh,
University, this is where all the magic happens here in our DU
exactly.
lives.
Yeah.
Yeah, we like to collaborate with different industry people. We like to give information. We feel like we're teaching a lot. So part of like education, is asking a lot of questions and getting them from the people who have the answers. So that's why we have you on today, Yost.
Thank you.
Yeah, the
Glad to
man.
be here.
Yes, thank you. I um I will let the audience know I met you back almost 10 years ago at my very first SAF conference. Do you remember this, Yost? We
Of
met.
course I do. I do. I remember all the details. Um, no, I don't exactly remember. I know we met at a trade show, and so 10 years ago, yeah, that sounds.
Yes, we met in the it was started raining in Maui. You never know when the rainstorms are
Oh,
going to happen.
Maui. Yeah, that was a memorable SAF. Yeah.
Yes, it was wonderful. I keep asking them, let's go back to Maui. They always pick these great resorts, but that one was particularly lovely. Um,
Kapalua.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, the Ritz there. It was very I
Yeah.
was like, "This is where the industry gets together. I'm
Yeah.
I'm in it." Um, but we met, it started raining and 500 people all went to the only tiki bar, which can only fit like 100 people. So we were all squished arm in arm, and that's where you and I met for the first time. And I don't know if you remember, but I clearly remember because when I introduced myself and I asked, "Where are you from?" and you said Florabundance, I was like, no, stop the press. I have met the person who has is the provider of all these gorgeous flowers I see on the internet. I was always looking for the good breeder. So I was starstruck from the first moment I met you, Yost.
Well, glad to hear that.
Yeah. So you run and you're a very busy man. I appreciate your time so much. But can you give us a little bit of insight? I mean, you started Floor Abundance, I see 30 years ago, but you had a career even before then. So I want to go way back, Yos. Let's go
Yeah,
back.
so let's start at the beginning. I'm from The Hague, the Netherlands. If anybody doesn't know where that is, watch the news tonight because we have the NATO summit. It's going
Yes.
live. President Trump just landed there. Um, I'm from The Hague, and I'm an agriculture horticulture student, and I had to do semesters abroad, and I decided to go to the United States for 1 year of for a summer, and I liked it so much I came back every other summer. And after I graduated, I wanted to work and live in the US. But it was hard because you need working papers and a social security number, all that stuff. So I had
Yeah.
to find a company that was willing and able to sponsor me. And I worked for the Dutch Flower Auctions. It was my first job. It was located in Livonia, Michigan. It's a
Okay.
Detroit suburb,
Yeah.
and the
I'm from
company's
Detroit.
called. Pardon?
I'm from Detroit. So there
Yeah,
you
so you know where Livonia is, and I lived in Ypsilanti. You know where that is? That's almost in Ann Arbor, where University of Michigan is. I had some friends there.
Yeah.
But I was hired by a company named Sira4, and that was an organization owned by the Dutch flower auctions and exporters to promote the self-cut flowers to mass market stores, Kroger, you know,
Yeah.
the big supermarkets, Giant. And I
Big.
was as green as grass, came from Holland. They told me it was set up for 4 years as marketing team. And I was there the last year. They said we may be continuing, maybe not. So sure, what happened after a year, I learned a lot. I lost my
Mhm.
job because the company was closed. Went back to Holland for the holidays or Christmas, and I had three choices in January. And so I picked where I wanted to be, and this was in the sale of flower bulbs. You know, everything is related in the flower business. So selling flower bulbs, tulips from Holland, what else?
Yeah.
To growers, retailers, garden centers, perennials. So I learned a lot of Latin names, and I decided to pick a territory that was available um, in Connecticut, New England,
Yeah.
west of the east of the Hudson River. So I ended up living in Connecticut for 30 years. But to move
Wow.
forward, I was on the road a lot, visiting growers. I was single, was easy, worked hard, worked on straight commission. And so you work hard when you work on straight commission because you
Yeah.
got to put
Eat what you kill.
bills. Yeah.
Yeah.
And, so that went very well. And I met my wife in Nantucket about 42 years ago, 41 years ago. We've been married 40 years. So,
Okay,
and
congratulations.
we resided in New Canaan, Connecticut. I was living in Rowayton, Connecticut. And moving forward, she was interested in starting a flower shop because friends of ours said, "Hey, there's no good flowers to be bought in this area." You know, there were 7 shops in town.
Yeah.
So I looked at the
So
location to
what's that?
see what
That's like
was.
Poundridge, right? Near
Yeah,
Westchester?
yeah, yeah. So that's where my shop was. Bongaerts Flowers. We started
Okay.
European style flower shop because I had access. I was importing flowers from Holland. Had
Mm,
access to a lot of variety, and I was buying flowers domestically on the West Coast from Florabundance, company that started, and I didn't start Florabundance. I came in 5 years later.
yeah, I
Florabundance
realized.
was founded in 1994, so we
Mm,
just celebrated 30 years. You may see that in the background. You can't miss it, right?
right, I did.
That was last summer. So we were buying flowers there, and the company I was working for. This was moving forward to the millennium, 2000, when everything was going to stop. Computers were going to go out. Remember that?
Yeah. Yeah, yes,
I2K.
I do. Y2K, yes, that was the
Yeah.
thing.
The company I was helping was firstamericanflorist.net. It was an internet company shipping flowers from Europe, from Amsterdam, via
Mm,
UPS, delivered next day nationwide. Not
wow.
overnight, but 2 days.
They must have been one of the first to
Yeah,
do that.
that was cutting edge, pun intended, cutting edge technology. Was after the modems. Remember the modems? Most people may not know what a modem is. It makes a lot of noise and
Hey,
it
I know
passes
you've got
data.
mail, so,
Yeah.
dial up.
So I got FTD as a customer. Mac Whitman was the CEO before she was fired in 1999. Then she went to a little upstart called eBay, but I started the perishable program for FTD. I think they still do it, but they went international too, since 80% of the flowers are imported in the U.S. They had a South American program too, but we moved on from there. And the British company that was buying or interested in buying Florabundance, why there? Because it's in the middle. We're in Santa Barbara, so between Watsonville, which is north of us, south of San Francisco, and San Diego. That's where all the flowers are grown, right along the coast here because of the Mediterranean climate. It's great for flowers. And
It's perfect for flowers. It's perfect for me. I wanna plant myself right where you are.
yeah,
So
yeah. And so a deal was worked out. We did all the due diligence, and I met the growers. Florabundance was started by 5 flower growers who are still here. Some of their sons are running the business, and most of them have changed to other crops like cannabis. So there's less flowers being grown, but there's still a fair amount. And the deal fell through because after the .com crash, so crashed that company in England, and the shares were in escrow. So because I knew the people pretty well, I got together a half a year later, and I said, "Hey, if you're interested in a partner, I have a flower shop I'm going to sell to my manager. We'd like to move to the West Coast because my wife had some family here, and I thought, why wait until you're 70? I like to go out here before I'm 50.
right?
Yeah, but I need to have an anchor out here. So became a partner in Florabundance, and but with 5 partners, it gets complicated. There was one person representing the partners, and after 5 years, we got together and they agreed to sell the rest of their shares to me and my wife. So we that was like a year before the financial crisis. You remember that one, 07?
Oh,
Oh,
I was, deep in doing the thick of weddings, so I was just hustling as hard as I could,
yeah.
but yeah, I
So I bought Florabundance, then we lost 25% of the business a year later just because people weren't buying flowers the way they were, financial crisis. But it was also a good time to restructure, reorganize things. And I've always been big on technology, internet. Florabundance is on a third website now. You have to stay up to date on technology. Things change, and you got to use it wisely. And I believe in having, the internet help the customer buy flowers, and a combination of personal assistance, in the form of
Right.
a wholesale floral consultant, and that's what Florabundance does. And yeah, we've gone through, well, mudslides, fires here.
Kind of.
COVID was very interesting.
Mm.
We never had to shut down, but it was close. And actually, we did really well during COVID, and it continues because I always say we're unique, right?
Yeah, well, I would say that the products you carry are really, really unique, especially being on the East Coast of Florida. When I was first doing weddings and all of that, I would try to get all the pictures and the flowers from the magazines, but I felt like those all were growing in the West Coast. If you really wanted gorgeous
Yeah.
flowers, you could get them from
So
California.
today, Florabundance procures between mid-March and October, late October. 70% of the flowers, close to that, are grown in the US. You can call it American grown. We used to call it California grown. Uh, but that is really great because we can do that because we are one location. We're not a mega wholesaler. We're a boutique, quality oriented, service oriented wholesaler.
Yeah.
And that's going very well. So we get a lot of the flowers in on water,
Mm.
and we ship them out after inspecting them. We bring in flowers from Holland. We bring in flowers from South America. And then we have a great program called Garden Roses Direct from our friend Joey Azout.
Yes.
Alexander Farms fulfills these orders. I see you're advertising Alexander Farms on
Yeah,
your
we love
website.
them.
You can send
Yeah.
them to Garden Roses Direct. They can sign up and place orders. 48 stems delivered to your door.
Yeah. It's
Um,
amazing.
yeah. And so we have a unique staff at Florabundance. We have my general manager is a woman, my packing and production manager is a woman, my sales manager is a woman, my main buyer is a woman, and we have a few guys plus me. Uh,
The women are running the show, it sounds like over there.
Pardon?
The women are running the show, it sounds like
Yeah,
over there.
well, they do a great job. And also I must say we have many of our employees have been there 15 years or more,
Yeah, that's
even
impressive.
30. One of our drivers who picks up flowers at the local growers and inspects on the premises. Everybody has a good iPhone. You can send pictures right away. So we've got it all dialed in. But what makes us unique is we're just a really good family, and I'm blessed to have such a staff because biggest problem is finding new talent. Uh,
Absolutely.
and we're getting some younger talent in from graduates from universities up the road, Cal Poly, which is great because we need to. I'm not old, but we need to stay up with the
Yeah.
Generation Z and others. What we need to do.
Pepperdine is there as well, right?
Pepperdine is down the road. Yep, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Power from Pepperdine.
If
Yeah,
I oh yeah, I was like, that is such a beautiful part of the country, and it's amazing how many flowers can grow there. You just have the perfect climate to grow the most beautiful things. So I really enjoyed visiting California. I would love to go back. You used to host something called Design Days, and that
yeah.
wasn't part of our questions, but are you thinking about bringing that back? Because I think I would
Well,
love to help
I
out.
believe in starting new things, make them do well, and then try something new. So, Florabundance Inspirational Design Day started about 15 years ago. You can look on the website. We have blogs up there. So, what it was, since we are educators, we educate designers. There's many new designers, and I give you some examples. But Floribund's Design Days, we had a group of 25 to 35 designers who paid to come out. We put a great package together with interesting presenters. You name the designers that are popular or were popular or have a lot of exposure. They've been at Floribundance Design Days, from Sarah Windward, Holly Chappell, Hitomi Gilliam, AIFD, Leanne Kessler. We've had everybody in the industry over the years, and it was fun. But then we got the fires, had to cancel one year
Yeah,
because of the fires and the mudslides, and it was a good call. I did it a month before the event started. I
you're
was
right.
waiting, and um, to do it now, things have changed. Travel has changed, education has changed. There's lots of videos out there. You can't keep up with all the stuff on YouTube and what you can do and learn. And
Right.
and
Well,
so
and then Yeah, well, and I was gonna say in 2019, I visited and I thought, "Well, this is gonna where I'm gonna lay down some land," and then you had some people move in, and I feel like the real estate just shot up when it followed them there, when Meghan
Yeah.
and Harry, which I know you've had some interesting, connection to the royals over there in this last Netflix, series. You had some involvement in that. Care to share a little bit about that experience?
Yeah. But I just want to finish about education part.
Oh, yeah, please.
So design days, it got really expensive to get people out here. Airfares, hotels. Hotels have not come down. Real estate is sky high, so a lot of growers have sold land, although there's a 10-acre minimum. But industry has changed, and some big growers have just closed, sadly. We miss them, but there's some small boutique growers growing things like, sweet peas or Baronia or Helleborus, or we encourage them to grow something that we need. See that happening a little bit. And then we bring in stuff from Oregon and Washington State as well, and Michigan. So that's last year, instead of design days, we haven't done that in a couple of years. We started something new, Petals of Appreciation. That was to thank our growers, and we did it in July because it's there's a heat dome over the country right now. But
Right.
in July, it's really hot everywhere. It's hard to do a flower show, but except for here in California, it's 62 to 65 degrees right along the ocean. And
Perfect.
so last year we went to growers in the area and wanted to thank them because of our 30th wedding 30th anniversary, 40th wedding anniversary last year. So they thought it was a great idea, and we wanted to thank the growers and give flowers to the public instead of just throwing a party for ourselves. So we did that, and we had six designers, six locations, a bus stop, dressed up in flowers. We had the fountain in Santa Barbara, the iconic fountain, arranged in flowers. We had in carpentry at the art center, big display from a customer. I sent you some photos of that, and you can also find them on online. And that was a lot of fun because whenever you give flowers away, kids get involved, families, they love it, and that was a big success. We're not doing that every year, but probably next year again because we have other things to do this year, and it's quite an effort to put together. But it was a big success, and you get a lot of press, and because you get a lot of press, you also get people interested. And you were just asking me about the Netflix series.
Is that how that happened with the Petals
Well, I
Appreciation?
don't know. They just came. They wanted to film. Meghan Markle has a contract. I think a big contract with Netflix and to produce lifestyle films and videos. So
Right.
uh, she came in a couple of times, and then I got a call. I was in Florida actually. I got a call from a producer asking, not saying what it was about. So I asked questions, and they said, "Well, you can come film." And they said, "We have talent."
Oh,
Okay, well, you can't tell me who it is. No, until I sign an NDA, but I first needed to know a little bit more. So the talent turned out to be Megan, and we guessed it right. And they rented the cooler for a day, did filming without too much disruptions because we need to keep shipping. We can't tell our customers, sorry, can't ship
yeah.
out today. And it went very well. It went very smooth. We set up a big display in the cooler. I think I sent you some photos, and Megan did her own thing in the cooler. We were not in the cooler. And then one of my employees, Florabundance wholesale floral consultant, Jose Rabelo, worked with her. I picked him because he already had helped her. She felt
Okay,
comfortable with him. So he's in the video. And
nice.
yeah, I think it went great. What I liked about the segment, it's With Love, Megan, series 5, I think.
Yeah.
She says it's not in the pursuit of perfection what we're doing with flower arranging. And I like that because we need to promote flowers in the country. We're going to talk about that, I hope. Um, so she shows how you put an arrangement together, and it was lopsided or whatever, but that looked good. And the flower she picked,
It was
amazingly,
perfect. Come
yeah,
on.
a year before Pantone Color of the Year came out, Mocha Mousse.
Yeah, and she
She
went the
picked,
mocha. I mean,
well,
she
she
wins
picked
a
the
lot
Mocha
of things.
colors. Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean,
So
that's what she
trendsetter. See that?
Hey, I think they followed along with that. She does choose to wear a lot of ivory and beige, she's gotta
Yeah.
stay mid, doesn't wanna
Yeah,
stand
but
out.
she lives 3 miles from us here, so she's a local, and,
Yeah.
it's all fine with me. You get always the press, this and that, and I stay out of politics and stuff,
Well,
'cause it doesn't do
I
any
feel
good.
like yeah, she did a lot of really good for flowers though, and trying to bring about people to put them in your house regularly, and, like, that's all part of, that flower feeling. I think she kinda carried on that mission. It's too bad you couldn't get her to
Well, I
to
tried. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
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 I bet you did.
yeah, because promoting flowers, I've said for 30 plus year, would it be nice if we had a national floral promotional organization in the US or national advertising campaign? Because the flower business is the only business that doesn't have one. We are
Absolutely.
fractured, fragmented, whatever you want to call it.
Mhm.
Everybody does their own little thing. You got the wire services promoting flowers just at holidays, and then we have all these other holidays. But I'm on the board of Cal Flowers.
Yeah.
We started this project. I was on the marketing team with Jeannie Bose, who runs the San Francisco Flower Market, and our then executive director Steve Dion said we need to do another study. And I said, what do we need to do to study about consumer habits? I mean, SCF has studies, AFE, WUFSA, everybody does studies. And it's great, but it's a time where you need to pull the trigger and do something. And since Cal Flowers had some funds available, the
Mhm.
board, we presented to the board a plan, and we used the ad agency that the Dutch Flower Council used, in We Need More Flowers in Europe. And so we connected to the agency in Amsterdam, and they came up with a plan, and that flower feeling was born. And we went to Jeannie, Steve, and I went to Warsaw, Poland. This was in the midst of COVID.
Yes.
So why did we do it there? Because LA, the producer was from LA, but it was too expensive to get through the COVID paperwork, and it would cost like a fortune just to get a permit there during that time. And the people from Amsterdam, it's easier to fly to Warsaw. And then I organized 10 carts of flowers from growers in Holland. And the idea was to have a wide variety of flowers available. So they don't say, oh, these flowers are from Holland. Oh, these are from California. And the funny thing is, people not in the flower business, they'll always pick like teddy bear sunflowers or something. Well, that's the most expensive flower to ship. So, and since I'm in the shipping business, you think about that, right?
Yes.
So we gave it a Florabundance touch, if you will, high-end flowers, variety, accessible to anybody in the world. And that I think that came out very well. They built in the studio a flower shop, and that's in the commercial from that flower
Yeah.
field. And
Yeah, that flower clean, I think it's taken the industry by storm, and there are, so many people are sharing everything. I think it's been really great. It's been all around self-care, as I feel like what the first
yeah,
iteration was.
so the timing turned out to be perfect because COVID had just started. People were
Correct.
stuck at home, and the flower business reinvented itself because people started to send flowers. But also the commercial, if you see the ad, I don't know if you can show it. I can send you the
Oh, yeah, we'll
Instagram
include it in our
link.
blog wrap-up of this, but
So people are doing cleansing at home, yoga, scream therapy, anything to stay sane. And
right,
that's in that 30-second commercial. It's hilarious, and it's got a funny twist to it, and humor. And then she says, and then I just, nothing worked. I went to buy myself some flowers.
right.
Go, you buy yourself some flowers. And we don't say where to buy flowers, what type of flowers, just buy flowers. And the
Yeah.
important thing is, we have over 300 million consumers in the US. If we could just move the needle just a little bit, it would be great for the whole industry, for domestic growers, foreign growers, shippers, airlines, transportation companies, florists, supply companies. But therefore, everybody should participate in some form or shape. And how do you participate? You just go to thatflowerfeeling.org. It's a nonprofit foundation. You go online, sign up, doesn't cost you anything, no purchase necessary. But then you can get free, that's not a Dutch word, assets. Like you can make
Got it.
T-shirts, you can make dress shirts, jackets. I wear them at the trade shows.
You do.
You can get all the assets are on the website, and we need to relay that to florists. There's a couple of retailers doing a really great job, couple of wholesalers that are doing a great job, and we've done our van. We'll send you a picture of those. We wrapped one
Yeah,
of our Nissan vans, delivery vans, and it's a Zen garden on wheels, basically. That's what people call it. And
yeah.
it's really an eye catcher. You can't miss it. Oh, there goes Florabundance, when we do delivery.
Well, and right after that flower feeling, I feel like you guys took out a billboard recently, didn't you? Thanking Miley Cyrus.
Yeah, so
On
during yeah,
flowers.
yeah, so during the
Go on.
campaign, Miley Cyrus came out with the hit Flowers. And so our ad agency said, hey, we can do something with that. They call it a culture bomb. So what you do is you come up with an idea, spend more money. So we had a billboard across from Miley Cyrus billboard about the flower song in Studio City. We said, thank you, Miley. And that's all we said. And then we sent her flowers and a vase in Miley style with tattoos on it. And it was sort of a fist vase. And we had a van driving around, electronic van over the PCH. We used a drone to film it all, and we got a lot of good press out of that. We never got a response from Miley; she was too busy. But we are grateful to that song. Every time I hear it, I think about how much fun we had with the campaign. We interviewed people in Santa Monica, in the park, ask them about flowers. Do you like flowers? And the people go, "Of course I like flowers."
Yeah.
So that's
Well, and flowers, yeah, are more like I think it's culturally more appropriate, I think, in Europe to be buying flowers more every day. Like
yes.
it's usual for them. So it's like something that if we could get more Americans to take on that tradition, we would definitely move the needle as far as that goes.
That's the whole idea of the campaign. And the next campaign, I just talked to Vanessa this week. I asked her what's coming up. They're working on a new ad. I think it's coming out this fall, and they're also working on the study on how effective the first campaign has been.
Yeah.
There's a program with supermarkets, and I know Kroger and Albertsons are doing it, where the supplier, the vendor, because you can't get money from the supermarket for this campaign, but the
Which
way
is
we do it is unit sales program, which Cagney Miller came up with. She was one of the committee members, and she's on the CalFlower board. She came up with
yeah.
this great idea to put a bouquet in a dead flower feeling design sleeve.
Okay.
And with that sleeve charges, you do millions and millions of sleeves add up into dollars. And that's starting to trickle in because the campaign needs to continue to get funds for the next campaign.
Yeah.
To be honest, we should have, 15, $18 million a year to promote flowers rightly, but we don't.
Right.
Maybe we'll get there to that someday, but I encourage anybody who sees this or likes to promote flowers
Mhm.
to get involved. How do you get involved? Scan the barcode. I sent you a barcode, and
Yeah.
you give $25. You can give $1,000. Florabundance has spent a lot of money on the campaign, way more than we should. And I
Right.
don't deal with supermarkets, but it's a movement that you sponsor. So in other words, we're in the
Well,
flower
a lot
business.
of hands, many hands make light work. So like
Yeah,
with
yeah,
everybody, if you're take part in the floral industry, if you own a flower shop or a retail spot or an event business, you should be contributed to this campaign because a lot of people, including myself, I was just added to the that flower feeling board. So I'm feeling in very good company, but we've got
yeah.
to keep pushing this forward because if people are enjoying more flowers, consuming more flowers, the whole floral industry will benefit
Yeah,
more.
I remember
That's
seeing you at
kind of
a trade show. I think it was in Miami, and I says, "Hey, you should participate in that flower feeling." And he says, "Yeah, send me some info." I said, "Why don't you pull out your phone? We'll go on the app right now."
I
And
know. He
you
really
did it
knows how
right
to
there,
sell out
huh?
of someone. I know that was showing your sales prowess there. It really worked with me, Yost.
Yeah,
The
no, I'm glad you joined the board, and we need new blood on the committees, and make it happen. It's
I know.
there. It's a gift to the industry from Cal Flowers, and Cal Flowers is still sponsoring the campaign. Although they're going to stand on their own feet in October, I think, or August.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's gonna be a split. So Cal Flowers basically started that flower filling, but they've
right,
made that flower filling its own association of sorts,
right.
nonprofit. So it's kind of diverging. But Um, can you tell us more about Cal Flowers Association too, so that
Yeah,
anybody that
so
want to join that?
it's called Cal Flowers. But it's the California Flower Growers and Shippers. It's an old organization, used to be called NorCal, I think. In the days I've been on the board for 10 years, I understand. Um, it's a great organization, but it's not all California growers anymore. It's become a nationwide organization, and you'll see some changes coming up there, how it's going to present itself. And we have some, I'm on the marketing committee again.
Yeah.
Uh,
But
so
one of the benefits of that is shipping and FedEx discount.
FedEx is the big discount. So we have about a little less than 1,000 members, and it's not very expensive to join. But if you ship flowers or ship stuff by ground, you can get a pretty good discount. It's don't
Like
know the exact number.
70% off or something, I'm thinking.
It's more than that now. But
Wow,
go to
that's incredible.
calflowers.org, I think it is, right?
Yeah,
Calflowers.org. And we have
yeah,
a great leader, Lane de Vries, who everybody knows in the industry. He happened to be
absolutely.
from the same country as me, from the Netherlands. And Lane and I, at one time, worked for the same company way back when he was
Did
with
you know each other
college.
all the way back then?
Yeah,
No?
yeah, yeah.
Really?
I'm not a flower grower, but I knew Lane, and I bought a lot of flowers from Lane over the years. So it's
Absolutely.
great to have him on board. He's got great ideas, and again, I urge the industry to work together and to share marketing ideas, but also make it happen, not just talk about it and have meetings and meetings and meetings. So
Well, I think that's the thing is like a lot of meetings happen and then you got to see where's the action taking place? Who's doing that?
yeah,
Because it does come down to maybe just a few people who are actually pulling all the weight and getting things done and moving it down
yeah.
the
And
line
the
sometimes.
Cal Flower mission statement, I think it is more flowers to more people more often. It used to be more flowers to more Americans more often, but I like people better because it includes everybody. And
Absolutely.
yeah, we need to make that happen. So we're going to continue as Cal Flowers to look at marketing ideas. There's lots of floral holidays that don't really get celebrated, and see if we can give that a boost as well. Because,
Wonderful.
and then we support Cal Flowers supports a lot of good initiatives. Live in Bloom is Jay Schwenke on PBS. That's for the crowd my age and older.
Yes, I've
Uh,
seen it many times actually. It's really entertaining. He does
yeah,
a really nice job.
so we sponsor that. We helped it getting started. It's good because anything that promotes flowers, I think, will help to the total plan of moving the needle, get sales up, not just for a wedding, not just for a funeral, but people take flowers and they bring a bottle of wine for dinner or something. Bring a bouquet of flowers too, and I don't care where you
Absolutely.
get them. Get educated in flowers. The companies educate the consumers, so they will
Mhm.
go to a florist. I'm going to AIFD in a couple of weeks, and we'll see
Oh, we will be there as well,
well, then
right?
we can catch up, yeah. And
Oh,
we'll see some amazing displays, floral artisans at work.
I
And
know.
a lot of people don't get to see that, sadly, unless you watch a video. But it's always amazing what gets done with flowers. And so these people, these designers need new business. And what I find encouraging about the industry is, and speaking from what we've seen at Florabundance, we've seen people come in. Can I join Florabundance Inspirational Design Days? I said, well, yeah, why? It's educational. And I said, well, I've only worked in the business for 6 months at a wire service type store, and I'd like to learn more. And last year at Petals of Appreciation, I had two people working together on the same installation. They both came to Design Days 14 years ago, and they were helping each other. And now one is retired, but the other one does really large events in the area, wedding events and parties, and build a serious business. So I said, that worked. That's a perfect example uh,
Yeah.
how education can work and help somebody grow in their business and get to another level, of
Yeah.
design.
We support all kinds of education. We completely agree. And I think if some people just kind of step out of their comfort zone and, travel outside of their city and just get inspired and see a few other ways of doing things, it just kind of
Yeah,
makes your mind just kind of grow like triple
yeah.
in size, just of what you can do or what you see and how that inspires you in other ways. So I always
And
love people.
the nice thing about our business is, we work with beautiful product. It changes every week. Pretty soon, sadly, we'll see fall crops coming in, berried stuff, that gets you close to August, September. Then we get back to tulips in the winter. There's so much variety, and that's what I like about the business. It's never still, it's never boring. There's always something new, and what we do and our buyers, we look for different stuff, cool stuff. That's what we do. We have basic flowers, we have red roses, of course, but we have a lot of variety and stuff you don't necessarily find. Sometimes it's only available for a week or a couple of weeks, but you
Yeah.
know what? That keeps it interesting. And that's
No.
how we do our business. We're a little different from the average wholesaler because we put everything in water.
Yeah.
Quality gets checked. If
Okay.
if you wouldn't ship it to your mom, we don't ship it to you.
How far can you ship your products, Yost,
We,
if there were
we
people
ship nationwide overnight.
really?
We
Yeah.
use FedEx. We use very little trucks because it's always time is of the essence. People call today and they want to have it shipped tomorrow.
Yeah.
We do a fair amount of wedding planners placing their orders well in advance, 2 weeks or 3 weeks. We recommend, especially in the busy season, which is now.
Mm.
It will start to cool down a little bit around the 4th of July, but then in the fall, October, August, September, and October. October is the second busiest month in the business now, and I'm not the only one who says that.
Yeah. Same for
So
us.
it's
It's
pretty everywhere.
yeah.
We're still trying to figure out December what to do besides Christmas wreaths and decor and a few flowers, but the demand is just not as great. But you
What
also
do you
need to break and regroup, right?
absolutely. What are where are some areas of opportunity you think for florists out there of what things they can
Well,
do?
I think you see a lot of florists, they're very creative. They use the internet, they use AI. We use AI. I use AI a lot to come up with
Yeah.
ideas or help you write stories or blogs. It's very nice. And you get a lot more done because you can produce more. But the marketing part, I see some very creative customers coming up with great videos or Instagram clips or TikTok,
Okay.
videos that seem to catch on. And yeah, and then there's the other group that just waits for the orders to come in, and that's changing. But it's exciting to see new people in the industry. We see new customers coming on board, and you need that because otherwise you go backwards. It's you need to go move ahead and sometimes reinvent yourself and
Yeah.
be enthusiastic about what you do and educate the consumer. We educate our designers, customers, but we also educate the consumers in it's okay to buy flowers, and and they started to do that. The flower sales are up. If you talk to Kate Penn, read her reports that flowers, Americans love flowers. That was one of our videos we came up with, was that flower
Yeah.
field.
She's great.
And
Um, with the digital age happening and so much new technology, and how you used to buy flowers, I mean, obviously, it was like pick up the phone and do that, and I feel like it's turning more to digital. Do you feel like you can still build as strong of a relationship with your customers with it going digital, or how do you, like, combat that?
well,
With
for the retailer or the wholesaler or
I
the
guess all
wholesale.
areas, just the whole industry as a
Well, the
whole.
wholesale customers, so our retailers we sell to and designers, they see stuff online, they hear from friends, referrals. We don't advertise Florabundance that much. We've been in SEO rankings organically for a long time, and SEO is changing now because AI is getting involved. So if you spend money on SEO, you better double check what you're doing because if it's not Google SEO friendly, you're not going to rank as much, and you basically might as well give some money to that flower feeling in your marketing
Yeah,
dollar.
I agree. I mean, we
Um,
don't really give any money to the Google
yeah,
machines, so
but for the consumers, they're curious. They go on Pinterest. I hear sometimes florists say, "Well, here comes another Pinterest bride." I said, "So what? That's good, right?" They come up with something you don't have or you think you can't get in Iowa or something. Call Florabundance or go
yeah,
online, do a search. We'll pop up. So that's what we see and do, and that's exciting. And yeah, Hitomi Gilliam, I don't know if you know Hitomi. She's a well-known floral designer,
for sure.
long time AIFD docent as well. She's come to design days, and she said one time in one of her presentations, "I learn every day." And she's not a youngster, very experienced. Got all kinds of awards. Probably one of the top 10 floral designers in the world. she
Absolutely.
still learns, and we all learn. So you can never say, I've got it all, I know it all, because there's
Yeah.
always something new methods, new product. And that's essentially what you do with details, right? It's new
Yeah,
software.
it's innovation. I mean, every time we turn around, someone will be asking for something, and it's like might be something we've thought of, or maybe nothing that we hadn't ever thought of it. But it's like, okay, well, we can do
Yeah.
that. So collaboration, I think, is key, and it's always
Yeah.
nice to like run something by someone else, or
And I
see.
think I can help some of your customers with flowers they can't find or can't get or
Absolutely.
need to find or,
I know, I love that. I would, love to do more with Florabundance. I've been a huge fan of you for so many, many years, and I think that that knowledge of every all those experiences you've carried with you, I mean, there's a legacy there and a history. I feel like all of that really needs to be captured and better documented of the evolution of kind of how the floral industry has adapted and changed and grown. I mean you
Yep.
came here selling tulips, and I mean,
Yep.
that's how the first monies were exchanged, were via tulips, so I love that whole.
My job was advertised as a tulip specialist. So that's how I got my green card. Tulip specialist.
Okay,
So when I see people and this is where are you from? I said, I'm from Holland. I used to say from Holland. Now you got to say I'm from the Netherlands because they rebranded. The
okay.
TH is not that easy on the tongue for Dutch people.
No.
But then they go, I say, I'm from Holland. What do you think I do? You sell flowers? Yeah. Tulips? Yeah. Because they all know tulips from Holland.
Yeah.
And the exciting part about the whole industry is all the new varieties that come out all the time, whether it's tulips, roses, perennials. I mean, there's so much cool stuff out there.
How many times do you travel, back, and how many shows does Florabundance or yourself attend every year? Like, you're going all over the world, I
Well,
imagine.
yeah, I've calmed it down a little bit. I've been very busy with that flower feeling, almost to a point where, I didn't have enough time for a few other things and Cal Flowers and Florabundance doesn't go to too many shows because the simple reason my personnel doesn't have time to go. They're too busy or they're busy with family. I've asked them, you want to go to this show or that show? So we've done the wedding MBA we did in
Yes.
Vegas a couple years ago.
Mhm.
And I must say, I have other ways of marketing Florabundance because shows are very expensive, and there's a show every month. So you go to all the shows, I think.
I think
So
you
I'm
do.
just going to AIFD this year. I have a conflict with the dates for SEF, so he can't be there.
Oh. Oh,
I'm going on behalf of Cal Flowers to AIFD. I'm going to the Dutch show. That's the best show in the world, I think, is in the Netherlands for people in the trade. That's late October,
IFTS?
early November. IFTF, and there's another show in Aalsmeer that overlap.
Oh, okay.
Very busy week. I see all my vendors, but I see a lot of the top growers from South America. I can't go
Mm,
to early October to Colombia and then to Ecuador the next year. I've done all that, and I see all the people I need to see and
yeah.
new varieties in Amsterdam, and it's nice to see family at the same time. I try to spend a little, I'm over 65, not giving anything up, continue to work, but I do want a little time to go I have a cabin in the Idaho mountains near Jackson Hole and Targhee ski area.
Sounds
So
wonderful.
yeah, and I can work from there. So during COVID, I spent a lot of time there.
Well, and just to fill everybody in, Yost likes to call me when he's walking his dog or out by the beach, and he sees what Kevin Costner is walking his dog too. So he's like, "Hey, Kevin." No, all the time. I'm like, "Yost, you just are living the life out there in California, enjoying rubbing shoulders with all these celebrities and folks, selling them flowers. It's very
Yeah.
charming, if I
Well,
have
they
to say.
like flowers too, so they're
They
welcome.
do. They probably like him a lot.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
is the next trend you're really excited about? Are there any things coming down the way that you think are going to be the next popular thing, or what is
Well,
it
it's
everybody
hard to
asks?
predict trends, and I've got a video out there on our website with Jay Schwenke from 12 years ago. It's called the California Grown Experience.
Okay.
And the reason I bring that up, there's a dahlia in there, and Jay says, "What is that in the cooler?" This is 12 years ago. I said, "That's a new dahlia called Cafe au lait." And he
Oh,
goes, "Wow, that's a beautiful." I said, what did I say? Yeah, I think it's going to stick around for a while. So here we are 12 years later.
and
So what I'm
now.
saying is it's hard to predict trends. It's hard to say what a trend is until it is a trend.
Mhm.
So I don't have a straight answer for you, but I can tell you about colors. People like bold mixed colors, especially towards the fall, oranges in the designs, blues. I see weddings right now. I know talking to our wedding clients, the designers, a lot of white and green is in
Mm,
right now. Loose wildflower look, if you will. Uh, and then you have some, over the top arrangements with, gazillion roses in an arrangement where there's not enough room, but
yeah,
that's a choice
that's
that some
that's
people
my
like,
style.
you know,
Yeah.
sells
No,
more flowers.
I
But
think flower sprinkles might be. Have you been asked for flower sprinkles yet? No?
no, I'm not sure. What are those? Is
Oh, Meghan
petals?
Markle. No, she's selling them in her crepe.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
she's come talk to us then. We can do
Yeah.
something else.
All the dead flowers so we can package up and like
Yeah.
keep them selling them for 100
And
times
by
what
the by the way, we sponsor Florabundance is a big proponent of repurposing flowers, and we have some customers who've done that. Sean Bailey in Utah, who did the flowers for my daughter's wedding. Repurposing flowers after an event is very important. You can go on Instagram, put an ad in there, and rearrange the flowers in the arrangements and bring them to hospice and hospitals and people in retirement homes. We do it here with the Dream Foundation, which is a national organization, and they have a program called Flower Empower.
Okay.
And
I
yeah, it's a great model, and they do it in other cities as well. So we're getting under the microscope with sustainability because it's happening in Europe. Everything gets criticized because flowers are not sustainable, blah blah blah. Around the holidays, you see these ads coming out. And then they call Kate Penn SEF and says, hey, there's some negative advertising. They go after it with the big guns, shoot it down,
know.
right? But um, repurposing flowers is great to do. You get a lot of smiles back because whenever you give away flowers, but we need to
Yeah.
increase consumption. Keep working on that. It's a generational thing. We need to work on kids in schools, educate them. You give a youngster, they'll pick a sunflower or Gerber if you give them a choice in the cooler. Last year we had a local kids group, Girls Inc. came over, and
Okay.
one of our wholesale floral consultants and main buyer Jenna asked if it was okay, and the whole group of little kids came marching in their little red t-shirts. We posted something on Instagram last year. It's pretty funny. And then we had a bunch of flowers saved to give away, and we let them choose. And there'll be some girls picking two stems, and there'll be some taking three or four bunches. Said, well, that's my kind of customer.
Right. I know.
Marching out, and they were so happy. But I'm looking back when I got interested in flowers, walking by a farm, a flower stand near my home in The Hague. They had beautiful varieties of flowers. I always bought a bunch or two or three, brought them home, put them in a vase. And I'm not a floral designer, but did have a flower shop. Know what goes into it. It's hard work, a lot of planning, and it can be tiring if you don't have it organized well. But it's
Yeah.
fun work. It's good. And there's a lot of people tired from other jobs that enter the flower industry and they want to learn. And that's what we need to do, educate them.
Yeah, we see a lot
Or
of that coming in, just wanting to leave corporate America. They want to get their hands dirty. They really want to figure it out, but they need a business experience on how do you charge appropriately to make this hobby, how do you make money out of this? But
yeah,
also they need to know how to maximize their techniques so that they don't have to overstuff or they can make more money on less
right,
quantity
right.
flowers. Right? So it's a balance there, but I definitely think there's a lot of room, and we completely agree about the education and the kids too. I mean, I'm part of Seed Your Future as well, which I don't know if I think, are you a part of that? Seed Your
Not
Future?
sure.
You're in so much, but we also do a lot with FFA, Future Farmers of America, and a
Yeah.
lot of teachers who teach in high school courses,
Yep.
floral design. And so we've been working with a lot of schools, but if you come down and think about it, there's like over, I think, 900 high schools in Texas that teach that class. So you
Oh,
think of
great.
all the students that are just like maybe 30 kids in every class. I mean, that's a lot of people getting flower education. So if we can keep
Yep.
that going, that creates a nice foundation, I think, for the
Yeah.
future of flowers. But uh,
And how did you get into detail software? Did I ask you that? No, or you're supposed to ask the questions. I'm sorry.
no, I know that is definitely on the internet somewhere. But yes, my family had nurseries in Detroit, Michigan, which was the
Oh,
rose capital. They were from Mount Clemens, is where I was born, and
Yeah,
it the rose capital of the world at one time is where all the roses were in North America. A lot of them were grown, and so we had nurseries as a family, and then my family moved to Popka, Florida, and that's
yeah.
where foliage is grown. So I
Foliage capital of the world. Yep.
it is. So we had that business, and I thought, I don't want anything to do with these greenhouses. I want to be in something more glamorous. And here I found myself back in the floral
Yeah,
industry because I
yeah,
just loved it. But yes, it was a long thing. But I was born basically in on the a dirt greenhouse. No, and that's we're one and the same part of it's just in our blood, right? So this is
yep,
yeah.
yep.
Um,
Well, definitely in the Dutch veins, floriculture. Anything
well,
related to logistics, packing, new varieties, you name it.
there's so much to learn about the
Yeah.
whole industry. So I'm learning every day, and we love to teach too. But
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you, Yost, have you ever did any kind of rapid fire questions? Because I didn't send you these questions, but I'm going to ask you some rapid fire questions.
Is this a quiz? Do I have to push a button? I got the answer? No.
I know, but if you
Go ahead.
gong, you'll get shot out of a cannon though if you get it wrong. So no. Are you ready, Yost, for our rapid fire question round?
Sure. Bring it
Okay.
on.
What is your favorite word in another language?
Yeah. You mean in Dutch?
Yeah.
Mooie bloemen.
Say it again.
Mooi.
And what does that mean?
Beautiful.
Oh, it's nice. Okay. What
You
is
can
your
fill in the blanks. Beautiful flowers, beautiful people, beautiful country, beautiful world.
oh, I love it. I would say. What is your drink of choice?
Well, I like red wine. I'm not a wine snob, but it's getting close. I like French red wine at the moment. I was a big Pinot drinker, or big, meaning Pinot, we're in a Pinot Noir country. But I like Chateauneuf du Pape, and most people who have dinner with me know that. It's blessed by the Pope, so that's good. And it's the old Rhone blend in Chateauneuf du Pape is in southern France, in the Provence area, Rhone region, and it's five grapes or more in the same bottle. It's not too heavy, not too light, and it's
You're
still
keeping the Pope busy, Yost. He's got to bless all those bottles.
no, but it's the old papal drinks. It's a joke. It's blessed by the Pope, I say, so it's good for you.
I love that. I'm gonna ask for that now that I know. What is your favorite flower?
Well, I've had that question before. I like all flowers because Florabundance typically carries about 3,500 different varieties on a yearly basis, if not more. So I can't pick one, but I do have a soft spot for garden roses. David Austin and other varieties, the great Barbara roses. They're just so beautiful. And I mean the garden roses that are cultivated, grown in greenhouses, cut flower varieties, because there's a difference with what you cut in the yard. Because of I like vase life quality. They open up beautifully, and they say, "Buy me."
Yes, I know. The rufflier and the more fragrant, the happier I am.
Yeah,
What's one item that you can't leave home without?
flowers.
You okay.
Got to bring home flowers home. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Hey, do you bring flowers home every day?
No, because
No.
they last so long. No, once a week or so. I get
Okay.
sort of leftovers. We have a happy hour cart, meaning flowers that are not great to ship out anymore. They're past their prime. Um, we don't call it bargain table. We have a cart where we put them, and there's a sign, and some people come in and says, "Hey, I can use these designers." Say they save a little money, and then what doesn't get picked up goes to the Dream Foundation, gets donated. We
Oh,
we try not to throw out flowers because some point you have to, of course, if there's, but we have a pretty good turnover of inventory management.
what is your favorite season? Spring, summer, winter, or fall?
Well, I like seasons, so I think spring is here in California. It's year-round spring, you can say, because it's cool. But when I lived on the East Coast, spring is beautiful up until June when it gets hot and humid. Um, Fall is a very nice time of the year. Everybody likes something about fall. I mean, it's pretty nice everywhere in the country. Fall colors, fall foliage, you name it, where you go. Um, And I like the winter because my wife and I both like to ski. We're doing blue trails, blue sky, meaning, we don't ski in snowstorms because we don't have to. And I only ski for an hour with that big on opera ski, have a little wine after and or a little lunch and go back to the cabin. But it's
That's your style, Yost.
yeah. Well, you only live once. You might as well do it well, right?
Yeah, I agree. Morning or evening time?
I'm definitely a morning person. I go to bed early. Try to be in bed by 9 p.m. On the West Coast, it's easy. All the sports are over. Football's done in the winter
Mm.
earlier. And I like to get up at 5:30. I get up. Puck is my black lab. We're down to one dog. He's a cool dude. He's 7 years old. He's in play group today, so he doesn't interrupt his interview. Um, Puck is really cool, and we go on beach walks, as you know. I call you sometimes the beach. We do hikes here, and as soon as I move, he moves, and I have coffee in the morning,
Your
read the
shadow.
bill,
Yeah,
and yeah, have my latte going, and then we go on an hour walk, and
that's
then
nice.
back. Yeah,
You steps in. So what's a hobby you've wanted to try but you just haven't yet?
be a ranger in a national park, maybe. I haven't tried that yet. Yellowstone.
I don't know if that's a hobby, Yost. They
Well,
let you probably like get
guiding people, telling them about what grows there, nature. Um, yeah, so that's I have as far as sports, I play golf when there's time. Don't play enough. People think I play during the week, but I never do because there's always something coming up. You know, um,
yeah.
so
Are you a thinker or a doer?
well, I have a hashtag getting things done.
Oh, so I think you're a
So
doer.
yeah, I think a
No,
lot. Getting
getting
things
things
done is the
done.
most important. If you have an idea or a plan, get it done.
Where is the next place that you're going to travel to that you've never been to before? Mm.
Um, yeah, well, no, I'm going to Africa a year from now.
Oh,
Safari. Yeah, once in a
nice.
lifetime trip. We just booked it.
Kenya, where are you doing? Did you
Um,
get
I-
did you get
yeah,
a call from Megan? No.
now I got the bills. Um, my wife put it together. We're going to Cape Town and then move from there. I have some friends here. They're from South Africa. They have Dutch last names because they've been there for 300 years. And they gave us some guidance and a good travel agent. We're going to a couple different parks, and we're going to Botswana, I know, and not to Kenya this time. There's Kenya, there's flower growers. We don't buy anything from Kenya. It's too far for the flowers that we need to travel right now. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that because I've never been to safari, and here it's phenomenal.
Maybe they'll let you be a park ranger there for a day. Like, you
Well, I
can
see
sh-
these guys with their big Yogi Bear hats, right?
What is for dinner tonight, Yost?
I'm going to a restaurant with the transportation manager of Kel Flowers. So um, I don't know what I'm going to have. Probably some seafood. I try to eat less.
Okay.
I'm getting older, so I'm going to stay in shape. And but it will be good.
What is your go-to karaoke song?
You're always on my mind.
Oh,
Willie Nelson.
that's nice. I
I can do
love
that
it.
one pretty well. Yeah.
You did. You were right there
You're
on it.
always on my mind.
Oh, thanks. No. What is a hidden talent you have?
A hidden talent. Well, I don't hide too many talents. So how do you answer that? Um, Smart business person, I think, not
I like it.
overthinking it, getting it done.
Park ranger. I'm still leaning into that one. Um, what is your favorite dance move? And will you show it to us?
Well, I like you've seen me dance, Cal Flowers or something. I like 70s music, disco era. Yeah, yeah. Well,
You wanna
you want me
pull it
to
up?
do
Yeah, I want you to do it.
it?
I love
Gotta give
that.
me some tunes. You gotta give me some music in the background.
No, we're gonna put this all to music. You're gonna love it. It's gonna be so good. What's the most unusual flower you've ever seen?
Forgot the name of it, but it's one that opens every year. It's in the news. It smells horrible. What is that thing? The tropical.
Century plant.
I don't know. It's a plant that a flower I wouldn't buy, but it's fascinating because everybody's obsessed about it, and I don't know why. Because
No,
it's
Lily of the Nile, I think is it's called.
no, Lily of the Nile is Acapentus. We sell those. They have no
Oh,
friend.
no, you're right. I don't know. It was
You
something
look that up. We'll talk about it next time. How's that?
okay. All right. And one last question. If you had a superpower, what would it be?
If I had a superpower,
Yeah. Would you fly? Would you have laser eyes?
no, I don't know. If I had a superpower,
What would be your superpower?
yeah, uh, you got me there. Give me a good answer.
No, I was like, I've stumped him finally.
Yeah, speechless.
Oh, there you go. Well, that's it. That's great. Well, thank you, Yost. If people
Yeah,
want to out to you and connect with you, where can they find you at?
and they can go to florabundance.com and click on login, register for an account. No purchase necessary, but at least you get access. You get a wholesale floral consultant assigned to you, and you can take it from there. We have a great variety of flowers to choose from. Follow us on Instagram, and we have another website, gardenrosesdirect.com. You can follow the Instagram there too. And great selection of garden roses delivered to your door.
Wonderful. Thank you, Yost.
Yeah.
I've enjoyed this time with you so much. I look forward to seeing you in a few weeks in Palm Springs. We're definitely going to. Are you wearing your disco attire? It's a
Well, it
disco
depends.
desert, I
Is it the
think.
disc? I haven't read do I need to bring disco stuff? Really?
Come on now. You got to get in the program. I'm
AIFD. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Yeah, I'll bring some loud pants. You know me.
we go
I'll,
all about
yeah,
this.
it's all about the details, Corinne.
Hey, I love that. And you also coined details. It's a no-brainer for me, which I always will it will hold firm in my mind for a long time. If you know, you know, people. But Yost had it first. So no, that's
Thank you
great.
for this, and thank you for doing this, and keep educating floral customers, designers, and the industry. That's what
Yeah,
it's all
thank
about.
you for sharing with us. It was a pleasure. And I now know exactly what I'm gonna bring you a park ranger hat the next time I see you. I'll be like,
One
we're
of those
doing
green ones which says it's got a triangle on the top, and then
absolutely, you
these
know, you
guys all
and
the time in
your
Yellowstone. Yeah. All right.
awesome. Thank you so
Thank you.
much.